It is a real honor to have our next speaker here today. They just had a big meeting here yesterday, and she was a vital part of that. So nice enough to stay over and address us today. Her name is Cleta Mitchell. She's the Senior Legal Fellow at the Conservative Partnership Institute, and she chairs CPI's Election Integrity Network. She's an attorney licensed in both Oklahoma and the District of Columbia. She's practiced election campaign finance and political law for decades. She's one of the premier election lawyers in the entire country. She also produces a weekly podcast called Who's Counting, which explores all topics related to election integrity. Would you please welcome Cleta Mitchell? Welcome.
Well, it's not morning, so I guess it's good afternoon. Thank you all for letting me share just a few moments with you. I am Cleta Mitchell, and I do chair the CPI Election Integrity Network. CPI was founded by former United States Senator Jim DeMint, who also founded the Senate Conservatives Fund to try to get conservatives elected to the United States Senate. And our senior partner is Mark Meadows, who, as you may know, is President Trump's White House Chief of Staff during the last part of the president's administration. I was asked to go to Georgia by Mark Meadows the day after the November 3rd, 2020 election. I happened to have been in Montana, where I was working on their election day operations for the state party and Senator Daines, who was running for re-election, and I was pretty happy because we won everything in Montana in 2020. If more states could be like Montana. But I was literally on my way back to the Bozeman airport when Mark Meadows asked me to go to Georgia. And when I got to Georgia, what I saw was a mess of an election, where a Secretary of State continues to brag about how it was the greatest election, most secure in history. Have you noticed that these guys who run messy elections they love to thump their chests and talk about how great their election was? But the fact of the matter is, we ended up filing a 64-page election contest in which we identified over 30 categories of illegal votes that had been cast and counted and are included in the certified totals in the presidential election in Georgia for 2020. Now, that case was filed under the Georgia Election Code. It was a 64-page complaint with over 1,000 pages of exhibits and verified affidavits of witnesses who signed under penalty of perjury that they had seen certain things happen in the voting process that were illegal, and signed verified affidavits by attorneys and experts who testified under oath, signed under penalty of perjury, that based on government records, these particular votes, documented, identified, were illegal. We filed that case, that election contest, and we never had a judge appointed to hear the case. So when they tell you that President Trump lost all of his legal challenges, they would be wrong, because he never had his day in court in Georgia. And then I got the wonderful experience of being the target of the Lincoln Project. I hate that they've misappropriated President Lincoln's name. The never-Trumpers who decided that any lawyer who represented President Trump or his campaign in the 2020 election needed to be basically run out of town. We should lose our jobs. We should be disbarred. They filed ethics complaints. You have a wonderful election attorney here, Linda Kearns. I don't know where Linda is, but Linda is a Republican election attorney for more than 2 decades in Philadelphia. She is an excellent attorney. You should see and hear the things that those terrible people have done to Linda and to me and to other attorneys across the country. So I ended up resigning my law partnership of 20 years because of what they did to me and my firm. But guess what I do now? I work all day, every day, on saving our elections in this country. Because if we don't save our elections, every issue that you're going to hear about this weekend, none of it will matter. Because if the left, the radical left that has infiltrated our election system in every county and every election office in America, and if we don't stop it, If we don't get involved, if we don't become poll workers, you need to be an election official in Pennsylvania. You need to be there. You need to be counting the votes. You need to be seeing what those election officials are doing day in and day out. This is not for the lighthearted, the faint-hearted. This is, as Governor Bevins said, this is for the winter soldier. Yesterday, we had a conference here, an Election Integrity Summit put on by my organization, Conservative Partnership Institute, and the Election Integrity Network. And we had over 200 people here yesterday from Pennsylvania to learn about how to become part of building a permanent election integrity infrastructure in this state. I would urge you, please go to our website, www.whoscounting.us. You can see the resources from our summits. This is the 4th summit we've had. We have 5 more scheduled for this year in different states. We've already trained over 2,000 people at these summits in Florida, in Georgia, and Arizona, and now Pennsylvania. But you need to know what's going on in your election system. There's an organization in Pennsylvania called Verity Vote. Write down this web address, verityvote.us. They published a report in February of this year that details how a group of about 40 left-wing entities have direct access to the Pennsylvania voter registration system database. Let me read you some of the groups that have direct access. They don't have to go pay $20 for it, which is what everybody else does, is to go pay $20 for the database. They have direct, real-time, ongoing access to your voter registration rolls. Let me just read you some of the names. The ACLU of Pennsylvania, the AFL-CIO, the Alliance for Climate Action, their Color of Change, their Every Town for Gun Safety, Movement for Black Lives, NAACP, Move On, Planned Parenthood of Pennsylvania, Rock the Vote, Tom Wolf Governor, and Twitter. Now, does somebody want to explain to me why Twitter has direct access to the Pennsylvania voter registration database? There is not a single Republican, there is not a single conservative group on this list. So one of the things that happened in 2020 is that Americans across this country woke up to the mess our election systems are in. The voter rolls are a disaster everywhere. There is no chain of custody for ballots. And if you actually read what happened in Arizona in that audit, what they determined was that there are more illegal votes included in the certified totals in Arizona than the margin of difference between President Trump and Joe Biden. And that is true in Georgia, it is true in Arizona, it is true in Pennsylvania, it is true in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, Justice Michael Gableman was appointed by the Speaker of the House to serve as a special counsel to look into the 2020 election in Wisconsin. And what he found was a wide-scale effort in which they literally, the left-wing activist groups literally stole the votes of elderly people in nursing homes. In 3 counties in Wisconsin, there were 100% of the residents of every nursing home in the county who voted. Now, how many of us believe that every resident of a nursing home in any location, anywhere, has the cognitive ability to vote? They are preying upon the most vulnerable people in our society. And we cannot do anything that we want to do on any of the issues that you're going to be hearing about and talking about if we don't fix our election systems. And the only way we do that is with you. With you. You must, so I urge you to sign up to be a poll worker, an election official in your county. We are forming local task forces in every county in Pennsylvania for people who come together and who will help recruit their friends and neighbors to be poll workers and poll watchers, to have a local task force that goes in, will provide resources for people to go in and oversee the nursing home facilities in your county. The churches should be involved in protecting these vulnerable voters. We should make sure that our military voters actually have a chance when they're on active duty to vote. We know that's a terrible problem. We need to research the election office. We need to know which of these left-wing groups are doing business with the election office. We need voter photo ID for every ballot cast everywhere in America. We need to clean up these voter rolls before every election. We need to make sure that every ballot is received in the election office by the time the polls close on Election Day. And in Pennsylvania, you must repeal Act 77. You have elections. You have to elect a governor who is committed to election integrity, and you need to make sure that they're not playing a shell game with you, because I've found that a lot of politicians like to talk about election integrity on the campaign trail because they know we care about it. But when they get in office, they kind of forget that that was a major commitment. This is a priority. We have had, what did Matt Bevin say this morning? Over 1 million Americans have died serving their country since the foundation of our country. They died to protect our right to vote. And we cannot let these left-wing radicals who've tried to federalize our elections by passing these horrible bills in Congress that we were able to stop. Now they're trying to do it through a Biden executive order. These people never stop. We have to be there. So I urge you, visit our website, www.whoscounting.us. Go look at that report by verityvote.us. Get involved. Help us save our elections. Help us save our republic. Thank you.